Hey Lunch Bunch! Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. My name is Cristin, and today we are having Hardee's breakfast. I've never had Hardee's breakfast before. If you have, let me know in the comments below. What do you give from Hardee's when you get their breakfast? Okay, so it looks like it comes with tater tots. I asked what all came with the meal, and the lady told me a hash brown, so I guess she's a little confused. And then I also got their bacon and egg and cheese croissant. And also a giant Sprite, because Hardee's has massive sizing. I'm so thirsty. I just got done at the gym. I didn't do very much today. If you didn't know, if you didn't catch the video on my main channel, I guess I probably should have asked for like sausage, egg, and cheese, because this is a pretty flat little sandwich. Not a whole lot going on here. If you missed it, over on my main channel, I am pregnant. This is my 5th week. This is the 25th. Today's the 25th. This is my 5th week. Started on Monday. Or at least I'm saying it's my 5th week. Like, you don't really find out how far along you are until you have your first ultrasound. And they want to try to make sure you're around the 12-week mark when they give you your first ultrasound. With my son, I went in thinking I was 12 weeks, and during the ultrasound, we found out I was 10 weeks. So with this one, it's, you know, it's still kind of like a guessing game until you have the first ultrasound. During my blood work, they said I was between 2 to 4 weeks, and I'm guessing closer to the 4-week mark, which was last week, because I'm already starting to have symptoms. And if I was 2 weeks, I wouldn't think I'd be having, like, anything going on. Because with my son, like, I didn't have any symptoms until I was closer to 6 to 7 weeks. So, I've got a whole video on it on my main channel. If you want to go check it out, I'll link it below. It's my 2 to 4 week pregnancy update. Being my 2nd pregnancy, I've always heard that, like, you'll have symptoms sooner. I've heard that before. But I'm guessing this week is week 5. Again, it's a guessing game until you have your first ultrasound. These are pretty good. A little soggy, but not bad. Yeah, I just got done at the gym. Normally I'll do like half an hour on the elliptical, and then I do weights, and then I do a few laps around the track, and then I like stretch out. But towards the end of my 30 minutes on the elliptical, I started having cramping, which I've been having with this pregnancy on and off, which I did not have at all with my first pregnancy, at least not that I remember. And it just kind of freaks me out. And my doctor said that it's totally normal and don't worry as long as there's no spotting or bleeding, which there hasn't been. But it still freaks me out. So anytime I start cramping, like, I take it easy. And by the end of my workout on the elliptical, which I was not pushing myself, anytime I go to the elliptical now, like, I am going between like 3.5 and 4.1 miles per hour on the speed, when normally I'd go like 5.5 to 6.1. So I'm just kind of going real slow on the elliptical, just trying to get my heart rate up a little bit. And then I do my weights and stuff. But like today, I did my elliptical, and by the end of it, I started cramping. And then I got off and I stopped cramping, and I thought, okay, I'll do my weights. But like, there's a bunch of older people. I don't know why it matters if they're older people. It doesn't matter. But there's like a bunch of people in the weight area, and I was going to have to wait around for the machine I wanted. And I was like, you know what? I was cramping already. I don't feel like waiting around. We'll just call it a day with the elliptical and leave. So that's what happened. It's pretty good. I'm not sure how well you guys can see it from this far away, but it is bacon, egg, and cheese. Should just ask for sausage, egg, and cheese. So earlier this morning, I had to take my car into the shop because it had something leaking, something around a gasket or whatever was leaking. I have a Dodge Journey. I can leave a link below if you want to go check that out if you're interested in like my review on the Dodge Journey. But yeah, I had like some leaking around a gasket, and that's like the Dodge Journey. The Dodge Journey is confusing. We bought the car for me. Like, it is everything that I wanted in a new car. Which, by the way, new cars, completely overrated. I love the Journey. I don't love the payment. I don't think I'd ever want to buy a brand new car again. Anyways, it's everything I wanted in a car. And then my husband had a red Grand Prix, which he bought that car because originally I had a white Grand Prix and he loved my Grand Prix. And so when his Saturn like crapped out on him, he found himself a red Grand Prix. He like just really wanted a Grand Prix. We even looked at like some, what was it? It was a, what was it? It was a convertible and I can't remember what the brand was. This from Dodge. Somebody out there probably knows exactly what I'm thinking of. Sebring? Is that right? A Sebring convertible? You can let me know in the comments. We found one. Really nice, newer car. Really nice. But he wanted a Grand Prix. Just because he liked mine so well. So, we ended up finding him a red Grand Prix. Really nice car. It really was. I mean, it still is a nice car. Just older. It's a 2000. And then, when we got pregnant with our son, my white Grand Prix crapped out on us because it was like a 97. And instead of getting it fixed, we just decided to buy a new car because we were going to have a baby. And my Grand Prix was a 2-door, and we were like, well, it'll just be easier to get a 4-door. And so we sold my Grand Prix to my cousin for like a little bit of nothing, and he fixed it up. And we got the Dodge Journey, which was supposed to be my car. Well, after driving the Dodge for like maybe 2 years, the red Grand Prix hit over 200,000 miles. My husband has to drive to work an hour every day, like both ways, so 2 hours of driving every day. Plus, his job has him drive like other places, so it's not just to his office and back. Like it can be like up to a 3-hour drive depending on where he's going that day. And it was like getting on to winter time, and I was so nervous for him to be driving the Grand Prix all those long distances in the winter. So I told him, I said, hey, why don't you just take the Journey for the winter, and I'll take the Prix, because I don't go anywhere other than around town. And at the time, like, I was a stay-at-home mom. I didn't have a job. So I was like, if I don't need to go anywhere that day, and the Prix just sits in the driveway, that's fine. Like, let's just keep it an around town car. And it just kind of continued from last winter, where he drives the Journey now, and I drive the Grand Prix, which is totally fine. Because again, like, the Grand Prix is so high mileage, and like, we really don't want to take on another car loan. So I'm fine with it. But that's kind of what's up with the Dodge. I'm so scatterbrained anymore. So we took the Grand Prix to work today. And I had to take the Dodge into Dodge to get it fixed. I had to have it there by 8 this morning. And it was pouring down rain. And of course I have a 2-year-old. And so just getting him up and out of bed is hard. I mean, he normally wakes up about 8 o'clock in the morning like clockwork. But like 6 in the morning, he is sleeping hard. Like, and I got him up, I think, about like 6:45, 7 o'clock, somewhere in there. So he was not happy about waking up. And we made it up to the Dodge dealership, got everything checked in, and then I had to like haul his car seat and him out of the car, get the rental car, which is really nice. They give you a rental car. I had to haul it like into the office that handles the rental cars, and then haul him in the car seat back out to the rental car, get everything set up in the pouring rain. We were both soaking wet. I mean, as soon as we got to the rental car, I just like stuck him in the front seat so I could install his car seat to try to keep him out of the rain as best I could, but like he still got wet. His hair was soaking wet. And this Journey is nice, but it's not as nice as ours. And I don't want to sound like snooty by saying that. But I think it was like last week, they sent my husband an email saying, do you want to trade in your car? Like, you can keep the same payments. You know, you've had it for like 3 years. Do you want to trade it in for a newer car? And we just kind of expected that since we had to bring it in to get fixed, that they would put us in like a really fancy rental car trying to like upsell us, you know, like, oh, here's the 2018 Dodge Journey, maybe you would like to buy it, you know? That's kind of what I expected. Like this one, I don't know what the year is on it, but like, it's just like your basic package. Like it's still nice, but it doesn't have like the sunroof like ours does. It doesn't have the backup camera, which I did not realize how dependent I am on the backup camera until I went to backup without it. Because when I went to leave Hardee's, I about went through the wrong exit, and thankfully there's nobody behind me. Like if I got out on this exit, we would have had to drive down the road for, I don't know, a while before we would have found a cutover. Because it like opens up to highway and it's like going out of town. Like there's nothing after Hardee's. And so I realized the mistake I was about to make and went to back up in the parking lot to go out the other exit so I could get turned around and go back into town. And that's when I realized there was no backup camera. And what am I doing? And like with my Grand Prix, it obviously doesn't have a backup camera. And I'm fine with it. Like I just whip that thing around like no problem. But the Journey, like it sets up higher. It has 3 rows of seating, which in ours we normally keep the 3rd row seat down. This one had it up. And so you have like 2 different sets of, what do you call them? Headrests, like in your view, like 4 of them technically. Like in your, right behind you. And like the, I don't know what you call it, but it's like the sides of the car, but like on the inside of the car. They're kind of bulky, and so it's kind of hard to like see around them. You have like more blind spots, I feel like. And so I felt really weird backing up, and I was like, I hope there's nobody behind me. Thankfully there wasn't. I didn't think that there was. But it still was nerve-wracking. But now it's like 10 o'clock. So hungry. I didn't eat breakfast this morning. I got my son to eat a banana. But we had to like get out the door. Because our appointment was at 8. And we ended up getting there early. I realized like after I got him buckled into the rental car and I got into the rental car, I realized it was like right at 8 o'clock. So we must have got there at like 7:45 or 7:50. Probably 7:45 because we had to stand around in the bay for a little bit while they logged us in. And there's like a lady in front of us who was getting logged in first. So probably closer to 7:45 when we got there. But it's just a nasty morning. The trash truck. I don't know if you guys hear the beeping or not. But it's backing up. And I was hearing beeping and I was like, what? What is that? But I can see it out my window. It's backing out right now. So I don't know, I just feel like with this baby, I feel like it's going to be a girl. Totally weird. Like with my son, I didn't have any feelings about it at all. People would say, what do you think this baby's going to be? Like, do you have a feeling? I had so many people tell me that they just have like instinct feelings about what their babies would be when they were pregnant. And with him, I was like, it's a baby? I have no idea. Like, I have no feelings about it. But with this one, I just feel like it's a girl. And maybe it's because his pregnancy is starting off so differently. Because with my son, like I said, I didn't really have any symptoms until I was like 6 or 7 weeks. And at like 4 weeks, like when we found out I was pregnant, I was already starting to have symptoms. And I'm gonna have like a whole pregnancy update video down below if you want to check it out. But like, one thing I'm noticing is I'm getting acne. That's one right here. That one hurts. My prenatals are in. I know where we're going after this. But like, this one hurts really bad. I had another one pop up this morning here. I've got several along my jawline. And I don't remember having any acne with my son. And I've always heard that like girls will give you acne. And then I'm starving all the time. Like, I would not be surprised if I haven't gained 10 pounds in the last 2 weeks. Like, I don't know that I actually have, because my clothes still fit me really good and I've been going to the gym. So like, I think maybe that's combating it a little bit. But like, I'm just constantly starving. Like, and it's not the same as like when I go on a binge, because I do struggle with food. I've talked about it before on my main channel. It's kind of like self-diagnosed, but I fully believe I have binge eating disorder. I think that I suffer with it to a degree. That's good bacon. It's not that microwavable stuff that McDonald's uses. Anyways, anytime I go on a binge, like, it's all mental. Like, I won't be hungry, and I will know physically that I'm not hungry, but in my head, it's like a broken record telling me to go eat, and it is so annoying, and it won't stop until I eat. And even after I eat, like, sometimes it's still going. And it is easy for me to not notice that I'm doing it, because it's just like going with the flow. Like, I don't always notice that I'm doing it when I binge. I'm more likely to notice it now that like I know what's going on, but for years, like, I didn't realize it was an issue. But with this pregnancy, like, I'm hungry. Like, it's in my stomach. Like, my stomach is growling. Like, I am hungry. And I can eat a whole meal, and it'll take 30 to 45 minutes for like my stomach to stop growling. Like, I will still feel like I'm hungry. And I have bits of nausea, but like, they don't last long. They last like maybe half an hour. And I know that like, if I have some nausea that lasts like half an hour, after that I'm gonna feel like I'm ravenous. Like, I want to eat everything in the refrigerator ravenous. And I'm like, I'm going to gain 1,000,000 pounds with this pregnancy. Like, I'm trying so hard to fight it, to not just like gorge myself, because that's what I want to do. I just want to eat like all the time. And with my son, like, I don't remember ever feeling that hungry with him. Like, I had like a constant state of nausea for like at least the full first trimester and well into the second trimester. And it was something that I could live with. Like, I never actually like threw up when I was pregnant with him, but I just had a level of nausea. Like, you could live with it, but it was uncomfortable. And so I pretty much lived on like Powerade, grapes, and saltine crackers for like all the way up through my second trimester with him. It was like all I could eat. I was just constantly nauseous. Nothing sounded good. And somewhere in there I started having cravings, because I ate a lot of potatoes and a lot of fried pickles. Craved both of those a lot. But with this one, no cravings yet, but I'm still early on. But like, I just feel like I'm starving all the time. And with him, I wasn't like that. And I can remember sometimes, like, towards the end of my second trimester into my third, like, I would feel like I was super hungry. But like, he took up so much space in my stomach that like, I would eat something and I would only eat like a small amount, and I'd feel like I was stuffed. Like, I feel like I just ate Thanksgiving dinner. So I don't like I don't know how things are going to go with this one, but starting out here, like, I want to eat all the time. Well, that is it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you did enjoy. I know it was a really quick video, but I still hope you enjoyed it. If you ever have any suggestions for what you want to see me eat, leave them down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.